Hello, operatic friends and family. My name is Shana Blake Hill, and I am so pleased to speak to you today on behalf of Festival Opera in Walnut Creek, California. It's been my great pleasure and my honor to be part of 2 different seasons and 3 different events with Festival Opera. And in my now 20-year career, amazing to say that, and what a privilege, I have traveled throughout the United States and abroad, working in companies of all sizes and of all budgets, and in orchestras as well, and also as a Naxos and Sony recording artist with major symphony orchestras, film soundtracks, etc., etc. But I'm not here to give you my resume. I'm here to give you my impressions and my experience with this extraordinary regional company. Regional opera companies in America serve an extraordinary purpose and do an extraordinary amount of work in the community, enriching our lives. We know that the big real estate is there for the big companies so that we can ascend and receive the pinnacle of our art form. But I strongly encourage you to understand that all of us work in all of the companies, and that great art does not depend upon the real estate that it occurs. That would just be too easy, and it certainly isn't true. Festival Opera is a wonderful example of this. Great casting and great relationships in the singing world have allowed all of my experiences with the company to be A-house level, world-class experiences. And that is important for Festival Opera's audience to understand and know, but also for other artists to understand and know. So much of the experience of making art in opera in particular has to do with the time that we spend together and the overall marathon of building an artistic experience. The audience meets us at the end of that race, but the beginning of all of that and the process of all of that comprises the entire experience of making that piece of art. And so that piece of art is inevitably imbued with the experience of making it. And so it's so important when a company is able to provide an extraordinarily rewarding artistic experience as well as the opportunity to make good art, because those 2 things exponentially increase each other, which leads me to this pinnacle of my experience with Festival Opera, which was being part of Susanna by Carlisle Floyd and being given this extraordinary opportunity to sing Susanna Polk with this ensemble and at that moment and in this community. I will tell you that in my nearly 20-year career, I can't think of a time in which I was more encouraged to bring everything that I have to bear as a woman, as an artist, as a thinker, as a technician, and as someone who thinks really in a 360-degree way about what I bring to the stage. I was invited, for instance, to run the photo shoot for the poster for Susanna. I was able to design what I wanted to say with that poster. I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and got dressed and climbed up a mountain in Griffith Park to get the shot right before a movie crew moved in and chased us off. So we had about 20 minutes to make it, but we did. And I was able to be part of the conversation around my costuming. I was able to be part of just little things like where items were placed in the house, on the set, for the most optimal action encouragement, because I, as Susanna, truly never leave the stage. And so everything had to be so user-friendly and so efficient. I will also say that one of the most extraordinary experiences in my career occurred when I was sitting in a room run of this piece, where we run through the whole thing in the rehearsal room before we move to the stage. And our extraordinary stage design team were present for that rehearsal. And I sang the Trees on the Mountain aria, which is this beautiful strophic folk song, but very dramatic moment where really everything for Susanna is crashing down, and she's alone on the stage. And the design team came to me on the break and asked me what I would like the weather to look like behind me while I was singing this aria. They consulted me for matters that never in my career had I ever been consulted or given that kind of respect as a performer. So often the singers are sort of ornamental to the general production. We're shown around and told where to go and how to place ourselves, but almost never are we brought into the actual design, the cinematography, if you will, of this moment. And not only did I carry that with me when we were in performance, but I knew in my heart when I was singing that aria that I was surrounded and supported and uplifted and held by the entire production at that moment. That the very weather behind me was singing with me. And that's how great this art form could be. That's how collaborative and dignified and innovative and moving and holistic this experience can be. And it takes regional opera really to lead that. You know, opera was created as an art form that is meant to help society in the way that Greek tragedy helped society to have cathartic experiences and to process big and passionate and angry and difficult and complex societal mores and emotions and historical events and hierarchies. The Marriage of Figaro broke down the wall between aristocrat and servant. Wagner's works, brought the orchestra into the house as a character, redesigned the entire way that the work was presented. Leoncavallo brought us, something torn from the pages of the newspaper itself, brought the modern character onto the stage in Verismo. So now we are at a moment in not only our art form and our nation, but also as human beings, that we need these big vessels. We need this big vocabulary. We need all of the paints in the paint box to be able to encompass what we feel and what we have to offer, and how that can be beautiful. So as I come to you in the midst of the COVID crisis and at the dawn of perhaps a new perspective in this country as regards race, I will tell you that when I was singing Susanna, we were processing the Me Too movement, and I was allowed to fully bring a modern perspective into my interpretation of this young woman's life who was so maligned and so abandoned by her society. And I believe that it provided a moment of catharsis to process that. I believe that festival opera made a space for that to happen deliberately. And I believe that it will take companies like Festival Opera who step forward bravely into these complex moments in our society and our history, and speak to them and allow us as a community to alchemically experience these things and bring forth something better, something synthesized between all of us, and something made not only in that moment, but carried with us since. I carry every note and every moment that I spent on stage with these extraordinary cast and at this extraordinary company. I carry that with me now through these times where I don't have a stage, and I don't know when I will. But those moments sustain me and give me hope that when I do, companies like Festival Opera will be there to say to me, what kind of weather would you like behind you as you sing about what's going on right now? What dress would you like to wear? How would you like the poster to look? What do you have to say as a woman, as a mixed race woman, as a citizen, as a living human being in the modern society? What do you have to say, and how can we help? That's what makes life meaningful. That is what makes us truly rich. And so when you are thinking about how to help your community recover, please think about companies like these that allow there to be a space for us all to recover together, to love together, to lose together, to win together, and to think together about what kind of human beings we would like to be. I hope this finds you well. I hope you remain safe, and I hope you are able to restore yourselves and gird your loins for what comes next, because we're going to be able to do this together soon again. And I live for that moment.